If you feel like you're doing everything right, eating in a calorie deficit, working out consistently, but you're still not losing fat, then this video is for you. I'm gonna walk you through the 5 most common mistakes I see with calorie deficits and why they are sabotaging your fat loss. And better yet, how to fix them. Because if your goal is fat loss, a calorie deficit will work, but only if it's done correctly. Watch this video all the way to the end because you might be making one of these 5 common mistakes. As always, I wanna get right into it, but of course, if you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe and hit that bell so you get a notification whenever I release a new video, just like this one every single week. Let's start with common calorie deficit mistake number 1. Drastically under eating that backfires, meaning your calorie deficit is much too low. I'm talking you went in with the mindset of, okay, I'm gonna do a calorie deficit, and you calculate your calorie deficit and you say, okay, well, I'm actually gonna cut off a few more 100 calories from there because then I'll get faster results. Now, although eating much less in an extreme calorie deficit can result in faster weight loss results, but I'll tell you one thing, it is not sustainable for a long period of time. And the consequences of eating in too steep of a calorie deficit for much too long include constant hunger and cravings, fatigue and mood swings, and one of the most crucial things, in my opinion, is muscle loss. Drastically under eating can also lead to binge restrict cycles, meaning you finally give into those cravings of, say, some cookies. So you eat the whole box of cookies because you've been really thinking about these cookies and you've been craving them for so long and starving yourself, then you feel guilty, so you go back into that restrictive mode and then you binge and you restrict. And then one last thing, especially for women, can cause hormonal disruptions. Now you might be thinking, okay, Michelle, but how long is too long to be in a calorie deficit? I usually say around 8 weeks to 16 weeks, which should be followed by a maintenance phase for about 2 to 6 weeks to allow for hormones, metabolism, and mental energy to kind of reset. So if steeply restricting my calories and going into a really steep deficit is not the answer, and that's a mistake, how do I fix that? Tip number 1 is create a moderate deficit. That's about 15 to 25% below your maintenance calories, which will usually be best described as about 250 to about 500 calories below maintenance, with 500 calorie being a steep deficit. Focus on filling your meals with high volume, nutrient dense foods loaded with protein, fiber, vegetables. You can add in maintenance phases and diet refeeds to make sure you don't experience any of those signs and symptoms I mentioned at the beginning. And these diet breaks and maintenance phases can be added in based on you, your specific goals, and what your nutrition past looks like. Especially if your goal is fat loss or a body recomposition, meaning I wanna start to see some muscle definition, I'm strength training, and I really wanna see fat loss happen versus just chasing weight loss. Like I say, seeing that number go down on the scale, drastically starving yourself, not fueling your body with the right things it needs to help either maintain the muscle you have or build more muscle, because in turn, if you're eating in too steep of a calorie deficit, you will be losing muscle mass as well, which in turn will naturally slow your metabolism and make weight loss and fat loss much harder. Calorie deficit mistake number 2, no strategies for weekends or social events. The same story of I've been doing really good all week, Monday to Friday, then Friday night hits and I go off the rails. Then Saturday morning, I go out for brunch with my girlfriends, and Saturday night, I go out for burgers with my family. And before you know it, you've kind of snowballed the weekend, and then you get back on track on a Monday and repeat the cycle. Now, don't get me wrong. I preach on this channel, healthy balance, 80-20 rule, and that you are allowed to go out and have a burger with your family or go for brunch with your girlfriend. But 1 or 2 high calorie meals over the weekend can completely blow out your weekly calorie deficit. So now, although going out on the weekends and enjoying life is very important, especially for long-term sustainable fat loss, learning how to fit all of this in to your lifestyle and build a healthy relationship with food and going out and eating in restaurants, but just having a plan on how you're gonna approach these situations without going too far overboard and destroying all the hard work you did Monday to Friday is where it's at. So how are we gonna fix this? How are we gonna get you guys set up for weekends and social events? My tip number 1 is give yourself a weekly calorie budget. So what you're gonna do is take your calorie deficit number, say it's 1,800 calories, and you're going to multiply 1,800 calories by 7. So that gives you a total of 12,600 calories for the week to stay in your calorie deficit. So what you could do is, if you know you're going out on the weekend, or if you know you have a social event on Wednesday night, you can move some things around and give yourself a calorie allotment for that day and kind of take off some calories from other days. So you can structure this however you like, based around maybe your strength training days. You might keep your calories a bit higher on those days, and the days that you're not strength training, you could knock off a few calories. But that is a great strategy to look at when you have just one event in the week. Others will look at the week and be like, Monday to Friday, I'm gonna drop my calories down to maybe 1,600 to give myself more calories on Saturday and Sunday, because I know I have a wedding and I know I have a birthday party to go to and other things. So again, you can structure your schedule, but just having a little plan is really gonna help you here. Another strategy is if you know you're going out to dinner, pre-logging your meals. I know we can't be 100% accurate when we're eating out at restaurants, because they're gonna give you a ballpark number, but we can't guarantee how much oil is being put in and what other things are being put into the food. But you can pre-log what you're gonna eat at the restaurant that day just to get a ballpark idea, and then you can structure the rest of your day around that meal. And then a little bit further on that is if you know you have a dinner out or a social event, eat a little bit lighter meals throughout the day. Do not starve yourself and not eat at all. Make sure you're getting your protein in, make sure you're still eating whole foods, high volume foods, but just a little bit lighter throughout the day so you're saving some extra calories for the night. The last thing you wanna do is be starving when you get to dinner or be starving when you get to this event and then you just eat everything in sight. Eat enough to keep yourself feeling full, and then you can go enjoy your food in moderation and not be worried about overeating. You don't need to be 100% perfect, you just need to have a little plan, and it will go a long way. I wake up early in the morning, and with the busy life of 2 kids and running multiple businesses, I found myself relying on coffee multiple times a day just to survive. I found it was leaving me feeling drained and sometimes jittery until I found Peak's Sun Goddess Matcha. I needed something to help me feel alert, steady, and clear-headed. Sun Goddess Matcha is packed with L-theanine and caffeine, giving me the perfect balance of calm energy and sharp focus. Added bonus, the catechins in it help curb cravings and support fat metabolism while keeping energy levels balanced. And the chlorophyll and EGCG help flush out toxins, brighten skin, and reduce inflammation. Sun Goddess Matcha is certified organic and ceremonial grade, unlike most matcha, which is either ceremonial grade or organic. Sun Goddess Matcha is both. For a limited time, get up to 20% off for life and receive a free starter kit, including a rechargeable frother and glass beaker when you purchase Sun Goddess Matcha at the link in the video description below. Plus, with Peak's 90-day money-back guarantee, you can experience the benefits risk-free. Calorie deficit mistake number 3, you're mistracking your calories. If you've been in a calorie deficit for a while and you're tracking your calories, maybe you're not actually in a calorie deficit because you're not tracking accurately enough. And here's where most people go wrong. Eyeballing portions instead of weighing, forgetting to add sauces, oils, coffee add-ins, or small bites like a handful of your kids' goldfish crackers or a bite of the grilled cheese sandwich. And then lastly is relying on restaurant estimations and what they're telling you the calorie and macro count is for each meal. Especially this is if you eat out a lot. This could be what's throwing off your calorie deficit for sure. So what's the fix? I would say not everybody needs to take this approach, but if you have been eating in a calorie deficit for quite some time and you're not experiencing fat loss or you're not feeling any changes, then maybe you do need to start weighing your food just for a brief period of time to kind of really see how much you are eating. Measuring everything in grams to be 100% on point. Maybe doing that for a week, especially if you're someone who eats similar foods every day. Weigh it all for a week to really get an idea of proper portion sizes, and you might actually be surprised at how many extra calories you're eating just by eyeballing things. And then my last tip is try to limit how much you're eating out. Again, eating out is okay, but if you're someone who eats out for lunch every single day, or if you're out every single weekend eating every meal out, this could really throw off your calories. Try to stick to foods like whole foods, or foods with clear nutrition labels and minimal ingredients that are very, very simple to weigh and measure and track. Calorie deficit mistake number 4 is thinking your calorie deficit is the problem when it could be hormones, water retention, or stress. Especially for most women, fat loss is not linear. And sometimes we forget that sleep, stress, hormone changes, our cycle, so many different things affect that number on the scale that we all of a sudden presume that it's the calories we're eating that is causing the stall in weight loss for a certain week, or causing us to feel a little bit more bloated in our stomachs or feel like what we're doing isn't working. But hormonal changes, stress, so an increase in cortisol levels, poor sleep, water retention from eating more sodium, maybe after a weekend of fun where you're eating foods that are higher in sodium, the scale could be up on a Monday, and it's not necessarily from the calories you consumed, it could be from the water retention from all the sodium. So it doesn't mean you're not losing fat, and it's not gonna tell you the whole story. That's where I tell people to track your progress over time, make sure you're tracking measurements, taking progress pictures, how your clothes feel, your energy and your strength in your workouts, as well as the scale weight. So the scale is a tool, but it's not the only tool. So if you have a moment where you're like, man, my weight has not gone down in the last 2 weeks or 3 weeks, take some measurements, take some pictures, think about what kind of foods you've been eating, your cycle. There's so many other things to take into account as to why your weight loss might have stalled, or maybe it hasn't stalled at all. Maybe you're actually doing a body recomposition, which is what we want, dropping body fat and increasing muscle, which will not reflect on the scale, but will reflect on how you look and how you feel in your clothes. So I guess mistake number 4 is it might not be the calorie deficit. And then lastly, common calorie deficit mistake number 5 is ignoring metabolic adaptation and not adjusting your nutrition plan as you continue to lose fat. As your body weight goes down, your body will burn fewer calories. This is normal, but it means your original deficit has decreased a little bit and might disappear altogether depending on how much weight you've lost. Now, of course, again, this depends if your goal is weight loss or body recomposition. The goal of body recomposition is we don't want our metabolism to slow down. We want to maintain or increase lean muscle mass so that our metabolism stays the same as we drop body fat. Whereas weight loss, when you're in an extreme calorie deficit, you might be losing muscle and body weight and body fat, all the things, which could cause a slow in your metabolism. So if you are just in a calorie deficit and you're not strength training and you've lost 5 or 10 pounds already, it could be that your body's metabolism has slowed down and now you need to adapt your calorie deficit to that new body weight. So what do? I say recalculate your calorie deficit every 5 to 10 pounds lost. Monitor your measurements and your progress every 2 to 3 weeks. Continue to keep your NEAT high every day, so your non-exercise activity thermogenesis, so walking, moving around throughout the day, aim for 8 to 10,000 steps a day. And then just don't panic. This is all part of the process. And this is why there's not one calorie number that's right for you. Every body is different. Everybody's body composition is different. So everybody's calorie deficit number is going to be different, and your body is forever changing. It's always a work in progress. You're always checking in. If things have stalled, let's look at all the things as to why things have stalled, and let's try and figure it out, make some adjustments, and keep on moving. So there you go, guys. So a calorie deficit will work, but only if it's done correctly, consistently, and with awareness of what's going on in your body. Let me know in the comments which of these 5 mistakes you might have made before, or which ones you're currently making and you're gonna start working on fixing now. If you have any other questions regarding your calorie deficit or your fat loss journey, leave them in the comments below. I'm always happy to help. If you need help with your nutrition or your workouts, you can learn more about working with me one-on-one in my online fitness and nutrition coaching program. I'll put more information to that program in the video description below if you want to learn more. And as always, have a great day, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.